Hey guys, before we get into the top 50, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things. That way you get a notification every time a new episode drops.
Make sure you're checking out our Discord. We're super active on there, answering questions and just chit-chatting about things. Also, we have an Instagram that is awesome, so make sure you're checking that out.
Come watch our live stream. It's every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We drink whiskey and talk about our favorite games.
Yeah, drop a comment. You can be part of the show with us. Now back to the top 50. Hey guys, I'm Tim.
Bob.
I'm Mike.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and today we are continuing our top 50 games of all time. This is 10 through 6.
Yes.
We are getting into the nitty-gritty so much that instead of giving you 10 games each, we're only going to give you 5. But we're going to spend a little more time talking about them. We all use the Pub Meeple ranking engine. I, this year, made very little adjustments, sometimes to my chagrin. But it was kind of fun to see how this list turned out because of that. Without being too precious. No, that needs to be up. No, that's what it said.
That's what came out.
That's what came out.
I tweaked my list a lot after I ranked them. However, my top 10 is completely untouched. I ranked them. This is how they came out.
Perfect.
Oh.
All right, guys. Well, let's get right into it. Let's go. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I want to know what everybody's are, and I'm excited to talk about mine. I want to talk about mine.
All right, so my number
10.
So number 10 for me, it's been on the list for a year now because it's been on it for a year. So this is the second year I believe it was on here. But Terracotta Army. This is by Board and Dice. It is a fantastic worker placement game. It has a very cool system where it has this wheel on there with these two circles, an inner and outer and a middle, and they rotate different directions and trying to get those actions to line up. So when you place your person out there, you're taking all the actions you want to take. You've got an area on the board where you're building your different Terracotta Army pieces, and depending on what rows that they're in, you're going to score different points. There's different ones that will score points for ones around them, tiebreaker ones, things like that. You've got masters that you can train with that will unlock certain abilities for your clay and everything, and there's just so much going on in this game. It's a little crunchy. It can take probably take 90 to 120 minutes to play, but it is worth the crunch in my opinion. I think it's just
Is that the one that's got the wheel and it lines up and different things depending on how that wheel lines up?
Yeah, depending on the wheels, you're taking those different actions in that section. But
you get everything out of that slice, right?
Correct.
But there's several layers to it.
Inside to outside. Yeah.
I haven't played this yet, but it looked awesome. This was a game that I was very hyped for when it was the Gen Con release thing, and then never got to play it.
Yeah.
But
I think it came out technically 2022.
Yeah, maybe
2023. Because I know it was on my list last year, and then yes, it stayed again this year. Played it a couple times, and it's fantastic.
It looks awesome. I love the vibe, the theme,
I was looking up. I was trying to look up who the designer was on that real quick, but slacking.
I mean,
it's a very famous name. I know. Yes, I suppose. Designer. I'm sorry, Adam Kwapinski.
Kwapinski.
Yeah, big name.
Yeah, and then also there's another person on here, and I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. I'm a dumb American.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I apologize.
You designed.
Great game.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. You deserve better than us destroying your name.
You do.
So.
I love the mechanics of this one, but it just runs really long.
It can run long.
AP players can destroy this game because there is so much to consider on your turn, but I really like that placement adjacency that you're doing in that little grid and how each placement scores. And then it bogs down a little bit when you get to scoring. It's like you're sitting there adding stuff up for 10 minutes to get the game
Having
scored.
somebody that knows how to score that grid you're talking about really can cut down on the time, because if you're just trying to figure it out by yourself, it can be overwhelming.
So what you do is you have the one person knows, they do their own real quick, and then you go through okay, you
got points here, points here, points here, points there. You got points here, points here, points here, points here.
Yeah. And then just boom, 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 boom.
And then you're also at the very end, you score points for your biggest group too, and so of each type of soldier.
Sure.
So there's just a lot of ways to earn points.
That's a little point salad at the end.
A little bit
with chunks of clay
in there.
All right, my number 10, I believe, has already been on at least one of these other lists, but I believe mine will be the highest. and that is After Us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the game that keeps giving for me.
Yeah.
I like playing it online. It's one of the few games I do really enjoy playing online because I think I just grok it pretty well, and then the board game arena does like a really good representation of the game.
Yeah.
Some games my brain just doesn't translate, and I can't play as well
Right, like
online versus playing in person. But I mean, it's a really cool deck building game, and you're going to draw your cards, and then you're going to lay them out, and then depending on how you've laid them out, you're filling out those little brackets. You're going to gain all of those resources, which feels really good. But you do like the top row, then there's the middle row, and then the bottom row. So you're gaining resources, you're spending resources to get other things, or maybe you're getting points. And then you're going to go and you're going to choose an ape, and you're going to get that's the kind of ape I am buying. But then that also gives you like a special
ability. Gain points, gain rage.
And then you can spend your own light bulbs to copy one of your neighbors, right? It's your light bulbs?
Any two identical resources.
To copy not what they're buying, but the
Your
ability
neighbors,
of what they're doing.
I call it the monkey see, monkey do phase.
And then the cost is very straightforward. You know, you can get the cheaper version or the more expensive version. They're face down, so you're not. It totally removes that, like, oh, you bought the card I wanted. Like, no, shut up. You just buy that damn card, put it on top of your deck.
Which is awesome.
And then you've got all those other things, those tiles that give you the variable actions, right? So, like, I forget what they're called.
The relics of the ancient history or whatever.
So it's like the old Super
radio.
Nintendo. Pinball machine, things like that.
Different things like that.
So you'll have like 3 of those that are out, and they're going to also give you just different things you can do if you want to spend resources to activate them and use them. Really cool game. I've tried all the different kinds of strategies and seen a lot of success going with different apes, spreading it out, going, trying to have a variety of them, like really focusing on like 1 or 2. And, like I've seen all strategies work.
Yep.
And
There's not one ultimate strategy. I've definitely won with lots of different ways.
And it's super fun. You can score a ton of points, especially towards the end. Like, because
ramps up quick.
Yeah, and then once somebody gets to that, I forget what the cutoff is, right? Like 60 points, 80 points. Somebody gets 80 points, and then it's like, well, now it's like, oh, well, Bob's going to hit 80, so I really need to just focus.
Hyper-focus points.
Just points. And you just start dumping everything into points. And you could just shoot right up there and even go past people. It makes for a really exciting finish because you're never really out of the game. Which I really appreciate. Amazing art by Vincent Dutray.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite Pandasaurus game.
Yeah.
And obviously it's one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. I freaking love this game.
I think this game was on all 3 of our lists.
Yeah. This game's just
different weeks, but check them out.
It's really good. And the fact that it's in all of our top 50s, I think tells you.
One of the best deck builders out there.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Very satisfying to play. Love the simultaneous play because you can get a whole 6-player game in within an hour easily.
So fast. It's so fast.
And I just love how it fixes the whole waiting on people to buy cards that can slow down every other deck builder that I've played.
Everyone.
And you just buy off the top of a face down deck. I love that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's no mid-max and like, I don't know. Do I want to add this?
Do you have 3? Do you have 6? Do you want the strong one or the weak one?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Take a damn card and move on.
Yep.
Let's
move
go.
along.
Great pick.
And you are already stuck buying one
that you selected. Chip for,
so it's even easier. It's like, how many do you want to spend? You're getting big or little.
Yep.
Bye. All right, Mike, what's your number 10? I want to know.
My number 10 has been there every year that we have done this list. It is Smartphone Inc.
Good game.
Absolutely love this game. The way that you actually select your action is still unlike anything I've seen in any other game. The action crafting with your 2 tablets and trying to get the most of like one particular action. The more of those actions that you have, those action boxes, I guess, the more of them that are visible, the stronger that action you get to do. And then just the way that you resolve the actions and go through the different turn sequences, it's just so elegant and just so clean. It is such a clean design, starting with your action crafting and then revealing that and then moving your price. And if your price is the lowest, you get to go first on everything. And that makes some really tense decisions at the the end of the game when you're in that final 5th round and you're determining if you want to go first, because if you are first, you may be selling all of your goods for the lowest price, but you get to sell first. So you are blocking other players from being able to sell at these higher prices. So yeah, maybe I sold all of my goods for only $3, but if I was able to sell 15 of them, guess what? I'm still going to sell more than the guy that has a $7 price and only gets to sell 4 because I blocked all the spots that he can sell to. I love the decision space in this game. I love economic games. It's got a ton of player action where you're moving to different areas and you're trying to create different text for your phones that allows you to sell your products to different types of customers in each region that you have presence. It's such a clean, smart, elegant design. Smartphone Inc. Will always be one of my favorite games.
I mean, the upgrades you can get for your phones are awesome. How you can kind of customize what phones you're selling. The dual layered main board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is great. This did fall into the top 50 after the 50, but that's really just been because I haven't played it in like 2 years. But I still love this game.
I haven't played it in a while either, but I've played it enough that it just didn't move.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I know how much I love this because I've played this enough.
And I think that's how it clung still into the top 100, is because it's just so good still.
And there's a lot of replayability in those modules too. When you start adding in the different technologies, the strategy from game to game completely changes.
Yeah, it gets nuts.
Plus, there's the CEO module I haven't even used yet, where once per round, you can just move them to any area and you can sell to that area even if you don't have presence. And I haven't even tried that yet. So
Who would have thought a logistics phase could be fun?
yeah.
Well, and again, this was a game that I bagged on because before I played it, because I thought the box cover was like, I mean, it's very well drawn, but I'm like, I don't want to be that guy.
Hipster
Yeah,
douche on the
hipster.
cover.
Yeah, like Tech Bro on the front. Yeah, let's go. Do you even like Celsius, bro?
Yeah, hey, those are good.
As somebody that spent a good portion of my life selling cell phones, the theme drew me to this game. I was very excited to get this. I went and bought the Kickstarter deluxe version, third party, after it released and fulfilled on Kickstarter.
Sure.
Yep. Great
Good
game.
game.
All right. It's going to take us down to
Number 9.
My number 9, if you know me at all, you know I love this game. If you're ever at a meetup, you know I have this game on me. I teach it to everybody I can because it's just so satisfying to throw people into volcanoes.
Yes.
But the downfall of Pompeii is fantastic.
Yep.
It's a game that's played over 2 basic phases. In the first phase, you're playing cards, and you're bringing people into the city to witness this awesomeness that is happening with the volcano. And all of a sudden, the lava shows up, and now you're getting rid of the cards. You're drawing lava tiles out and getting everybody out of the city because it's not awesome anymore. But just, you tell people that you're going to get a chance to throw people in a volcano, they're like, okay. But then when they actually get to run people over with lava and throw them into a volcano, they're like, okay, that's way more satisfying than you think it would be. But it's a fantastic game. It's older. It's kind of hard to get. My version is the Mayday games, but apparently Amigo has the rights now, so I don't know if it's going to get a reprint. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, man.
But that would be awesome. If you get a chance to play this, play it. If you see me out and about, I probably have it with me. Ask me. I will teach you. It's only 4 players, which is a little unfortunate. It'd be cooler if it was more players, but it's a fantastic
But that board
game.
gets crowded.
It gets crowded quick.
And it's really hard to get people off that map.
It
once
would
that
be-
lava starts flowing.
It would be really interesting to see kind of a refresh of this game because the art doesn't do a whole lot for it because it's
Correct.
like a 20-year-old game now.
Yeah.
And also, if there's a way to expand the board and allow for a 5 to 6 player game, I think could do a lot to bring this one back because otherwise it's a timeless classic. This
Now-
game's amazing.
Now, what if, because I don't know, but what if that map is like an actual map of like Pompeii? Well, then you can't just add like, oh, well, there was this neighborhood over here nobody
Right,
talks
I remember
about.
that exit down that hallway, right? Everybody knows that was there. Yeah.
I'm just being
Sure.
facetious.
I guess I haven't looked that close
But-
to see how accurate it was.
Pompeii is just ruins now.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't think
There's
you can
no way to
really
know.
ruin
There's
the
no
map.
aerial
way to
footage
know.
of it from back then.
Drone footage. The other thing, though, I guess I will disagree slightly with the art comment, mostly because I feel like the art feels thematic. I feel like that feels like artistic representations that
what
I've seen
art
of
back
that
then?
time. So like maybe not even like, oh, that's what paintings look like at Rome in that time, in Pompeii at that time, but maybe like when people were painting it, during like the Renaissance and stuff, it feels more like that style, right? But whatever, the art doesn't bother me. I'd love to see a refresh though. I think a refresh would be really cool. I think you could do some really cool things. You got to keep the theme. You got to keep the rules.
Keep the 3D volcano.
Keep the 3D volcano.
absolutely.
You must. The second they get rid of that, it's like done.
Yep. I stopped carrying it
If
around.
they just turned it into like a bag, I don't know, bag.
It had to be a bag with a square bottom that could stand up, so you can still like toss things into it.
Well, that becomes a 3D volcano then.
Yeah, there it is.
So,
There you
there you
go.
go.
Heard it here first, folks.
Great pick.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love that game. Okay, so my number 9 has been, I think, in my top 10 every year. Bounces around a little bit, and this one did get a refresh, but I don't know how I feel about it because I haven't played it yet. And I'm talking about Defenders of the Realm.
Oh yes.
I freaking love Defenders of the Realm. This is a Richard Lanius. This is classic. When I first got in the hobby, I started by playing, DC Deck Builder, Ticket to Ride, Catan, and Pandemic. And I really liked Pandemic until I played Defenders of the Realm.
Yep.
And then I started playing Defenders of the Realm, and I'm like, why am I playing Pandemic? If I'm going to put cubes on a board and I'm going around and I'm trying to stop stuff from, blighting the land and
Expanding
everything and
yeah.
expanding, I want to do it as a badass medieval,
like
character.
a fantasy character.
Yeah, just going in and chucking dice and taking out bad guys.
orcs, taking out, dragonkin, undead, and demons.
Oh,
yeah.
it feels so good. There's a really cool event deck, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes nothing happens.
Sometimes, not often.
You got little inns, like different things you can
Gather
go to.
information.
Yeah, all kinds of different stuff. And you're building up those hands of cards. You try to get next to somebody else so we can swap cards. All right, I'm going to go in
Stack
after.
of characters.
I'm going to go after the leader. Tons of characters, all with asymmetric player abilities.
I'm with you, Tim. I am nervous about the reprint. Like,
Sure.
I'm not big on the art style that they went for. Like, the original version has a very kind of classic fantasy artwork to it.
It does.
The new one is different.
It's very vibrant.
It is very vibrant, and I don't know if they changed much of the mechanics or
Sure.
anything, but it does look different.
It looks different, and it's tough, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Looks
tough.
a bit more cartoony.
Oh, yeah,
that's
almost
a good way.
arc-
With the
almost
sharp
Arcadia Quest-ish.
outlines
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
characters. Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, but here's the thing, right? If it's basically the same game, awesome. I'm really glad people are going to get to enjoy
That game, right.
I will always have the version that I love, no matter what I feel about the new one. If I get the new one and I'm like, this one's awesome, I'm going to keep that old one back here on the shelf because I do love it, and I'm
Right.
really thankful for like helping me
That
love
was
the
one of
hobby.
my gateway games.
Yeah, but at the same time, if I get the new one and it doesn't land for me, well, that's fine. I still got the badass one that I love. I can
Right.
still play whatever I want. Whatever. You can have both. Both can exist in the same world.
What?
They didn't ruin my childhood or my early 30s because they changed
Show
the game.
us on the meeple with the game hurt you.
Show us on the Dragon Kid
That's
where
right.
the new Defenders of the Realm hurt you. But anyways, I'm just glad this game is still sort of out there, right? In the universe, in the zeitgeist. So I really hope the new one's good. I was just initially a little turned off by the art design that they chose. But I know nothing else about it, and I just talked about how I was really wrong about a game where I thought the box cover was not appealing at all in Smartphone Inc. And it turns out that game is in my top 100.
Right.
So I could be looking at the Defenders of the Realm going, man, I don't like the art style. Then I'll play that game and I'll be like, oh, this is awesome.
Right.
And then I love it, whatever. So anyways, I am a walking paradox.
That's a word.
I'm a walking block of cheese because my number 9 is Cubitos.
You better be running, boy. That's a racing game.
This game is just like one of my obsessions, and I like it more than probably most people, but it just checks a lot of boxes for me. It plays in an hour. It now supports 6 with the Foul Play expansion. It's simultaneous play. I love rolling dice. I love pushing my luck. I love racing, dice pool building, and just the way it handles the bust mechanic I love, because you're basically just rolling these dice and you're either going to use a currency to buy better dice and improve your dice pool, or move around the track, and whoever of course finishes first wins the game. One of my favorite designers, John D. Clare, this is my favorite game from him. This is one of those games I can just play over and over and over, and I've had days where I've done that. I've had times where I've played this game 3 times consecutively.
Nice.
And I just don't know a whole whole lot of games that ring in an hour or longer where I've had the desire to do that, and this is one of those games. But I love the way the catch-up mechanic works. If you bust, which is rolling all blanks on your dice, you're going to go up this track. But the further you go up this track, the more dice you get to roll each turn, the more you get permanent. You get credits, which are permanent currency to buy better dice instead of only gaining temporary currency. And I think that catch-up mechanic works really well. And then there's even some dice abilities where the further you are up that track, the stronger it actually is. Some dice combo off of that bus track, fan track, I believe is what they call it. But man, this game just checks all of the boxes for me. I love Cubitos. I do want to say we finally tried Foul Play. And this can happen in any game where you've got a bunch of different sets of things that are mixed together, where you find one particular card or die effect can be stronger than others. We're playing on a water board, and there's one particular flamingo ability that happened to be way stronger than the others. But that was just the first suggested combination of cards out of like 12 or more that come in the expansion book. So all you do is you just try the other combinations.
Or use a different map, right?
Or use a different map.
That doesn't have quite as much water on it. Because there was a lot of water on that map, and I was just flamingoing all the way around that thing.
Yeah, it just gave you extra movement going into and on water. And so, you know, there's a lot of different tracks. The base game comes with 4. The expansion adds 4 more tracks, plus extra dice. And there's tons of combinations and synergies you can create with all the different ways you can make these dice resolve. So Cubitos, just an absolute blast of a game for my taste in games.
I mean, you taught it to me, beat the brakes off of me, and I still went and bought that game like within 2 weeks because I mean, I saw the appeal. It's super fun, all the different kinds of dice, you know, again, that adding that, you know what I mean? It's sort of like that, okay, I want to only get these because then they're going to do these abilities. Like all that mix and matching. It's sort of also, it's like a little bit of that quacks because there's the different abilities you can use for the same dice, right? Which really is I love it when games do that because it's such a fiscally responsible way to enhance and give you a lot of bang in a box where you really just kind of you're adding a few more cards instead of adding all these extra components, you know, and it also feels less fiddly, you know, because now it's like, you know, let me get this set out. I mean, we were playing a game that I'll talk about later where it's like there's just some stuff that maybe we don't always bother to get out because it's easier not to mess with it. And so for Cubitos, you know, again, decent sized box, not oversized, you know,
normal size,
reasonable sized box, and but so much game in there. It's a great game. I just need to play it more.
And it's like dice building, deck building.
It feels good.
You're buying all your dice and you're adding them to like your deck, which is like your pool, and then you're kind of drawing from those.
Yeah, it feels good. It's fun. It's a good game.
Yeah, there's I also like the base game has a ton of like suggested layouts and suggested tracks to use, but you can also like, all right, you can pick the white card this time. You can pick the blue card this time. Or you can even do a draft. You can lay all the cards out and say, all right, you can pick any one you want. All right, I'll pick the blue one that I want. I like using these different methods to like select the type of game that you're going to play.
You're keeping it spicy, man.
It vastly changes up how you play the game.
I woke up feeling cheesy, coach. Yeah, man, that's a great pick. Good game.
All right. That will take us down to
number 8.
Here on the board game rundown.
Oh no, that's staying in. That is staying.
We like to go from 9 to 7.
Oh, that's staying in. That's so
I just really hope that Cubitos was his 8, and now he has to make his
both.
9, 8, and it's gonna just not sit good with him.
No, it doesn't.
That's okay. We'll just do a record scratch and we'll just replay his own Cubitos thing. That was so good.
Hilarious.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Well done.
You're welcome.
Number 8.
Yeah, I don't know why you said it again
7.
because the first one's staying in.
That's true. I don't know. I felt like it. Ahoy! Kitten.
Wow.
This ridiculous game is way more fun than it has any right being.
it is.
It's basically musical chairs with fish and cats, and you're going 1, 2, 3, and you're pointing at a tile that has fish on it. If you're the only one pointing at that tile, you get to take all those fish. If there's multiple people pointing at that tile, nobody gets any fish. And you're going to add more fish to the empty tiles, and you're going to add an extra fish to all the tiles that have fish on it. But now your tile might have fish on it, so now that's a tile that people can point to. So when you go 1, 2, 3, you'll have to protect your fish instead of letting people point at it. And you can bank those fish, but you're out for the next turn. And yes, that's all the rules, but this game is still so ridiculously fun. Like, the moment my mom swore at my niece because my niece kept stealing all of her fish, I knew this game was a winner. It's like experienced gamers, entry-level gamers, it does not matter. The low rules overhead, the player interaction, it's just, and you're done in like 15, 20 minutes, and everybody's had a blast. Like, curmudgeons, everybody likes this game.
Yeah, this game is great. It's I was shocked that this wasn't in my top 50. It barely missed my top 50.
Same.
Wow.
But I love this game.
Yeah.
This would have been one where if I was like fiddling with the list, this would have been
this should have been higher. Yeah.
100%.
No, this game, it's fantastic. It's a Mayday game, small, tiny box. You can take it anywhere where you go, and it's great.
Teach it in under a minute.
Yep.
It's so much fun.
I love this game. It's a blast to play.
It's really good. We even figured out how to play it virtually on our Whiskey Wednesday.
We did. Yeah, so
And
if
it
you're
works out
watching
really
that,
well.
you can watch us play that.
Yeah, we
This
should
is
do
one of
that
those games
against
like where I've literally scored 0 points and still had a great time.
Oh my gosh.
That's true.
I've never not laughed or cussed at somebody during one of these.
Right.
In fact,
that's playing with
sometimes
my kids.
when you're playing the battle of attrition or the war of attrition, and you see the chance that you may score 0 points, it's like you dig your feet in even more.
No,
I'm like, I don't care.
That tile,
No,
that tile is mine. Like, fine, I'm gonna go over here. No, somebody took the tile. Yeah.
it's worth the risk of 0 points if it means not giving up that huge.
Yeah, but
Yep.
then you might get that huge pile of fish and
That's right.
score a crap ton of points. And it feels good.
So
great.
fun, so fun.
That's a great one.
Cool.
That's a great pick. My number 8, not 7, is my favorite Martin Wallace game of all time. And it's a weird one, but not as weird as Wildlands. I'm talking about Australia.
Ooh, okay.
This game does that action mechanic that I love,
Yes.
where it's like it takes certain actions are maybe a little more powerful, take more time. So you're going to move up on that time track, and then basically, if you are still the last one on the time track, you go until you
going.
pass somebody.
Yep.
And then the last person on the time track is going to be the one to take the action. And in Australia, basically what's happening is it's a spiritual sequel to A Study in Emerald. So Study in Emerald was a Neil Gaiman short story where basically the great old ones had taken over England, and Sherlock Holmes is he's basically like the rebel force. They're trying to overthrow the great old ones. So in Australia, they've succeeded, and the great old ones have been driven from England, and everybody thinks everything's cool. Now we're going to colonize Australia. Guess what? That's where the great old ones are now. Bad times. So the board is a map, and there is in the way deep inland are where all the great old ones are. And you're building up these little farms, and you're building train tracks to go inland because you need to get those resources. But at the same time, the further in you go, you're revealing tokens, and different monsters are going to be coming out. And then they're going to be going through and basically just running like hell through everything that you built. It's almost semi-co-op, though, because everyone can lose the game if you allow the great old ones to get to the shore.
Port, yeah.
Because then they can escape, basically, out into the world. So you're trying to push them in, defeat them, and then keep them from getting back out into the world while still doing better than your neighbors, getting better points. It's got a really cool combat resolution where you draw that card and like the different things trigger on the cards that you draw, the different kinds of units you can build, different things like that. Really interesting game. Lots of fun rules that I have not seen in a lot of other games, and especially the way that it's put all together with a really fun theme because, as my list bears out, I love Cthulhu stuff, and this is just like a really interesting sort of like alternative history take on that. So you combine two things I love: history, Cthulhu mythos, smush them together. Thank you, Martin Wallace. It's a game I love.
Yeah, I love that whole your action takes so much time. Oh, you want to build railroad? Railroad takes a long time to build, so that's going to be like 10 action spaces. So you go forward 10 action spaces, and then whoever's in last place is going to take actions. You take a whole bunch of small actions. I'm going to build a farm, but it only takes 2 or 3. I'm going to do this. It only takes 2 or 3. And you can get a few actions in before you pass that person again, and then they get to go because they chose to choose an action that took them a much longer time to do. And that's just a really unique
and it's kind of fun because you can choose like little, and then do
do
that big one.
Yeah.
And leap ahead. And then depending on how many players, right, you may not have a lot of downtime between turns because if you just pass someone barely, they're going to get to do like one thing.
And then
you're going to go again.
Yep.
It's just really, it's really cool. I enjoy this game quite a bit.
Yep.
It's really neat.
It's one I need to play.
Yeah, you do.
Yep.
My number 8 is going to get talked about a bit. It is Ankh, Gods of Egypt. This is my favorite Eric Lang game. He's one of my favorite. He is my favorite designer. Actually, I lied. Sorry. He's one of them. But I like this one more than the other games in the trilogy.
Yes.
And
best.
there's a few reasons for that. So number 1 is it takes some of the powers from the cards in Blood Rage and turns them into, well, you can buy any of these in any game that you play. You don't have to just draw the card. It kind of simplifies that draft process into a spend Ankh, use the Ankh ability to buy these abilities on your turn. And I just really appreciate how the battles are resolved in this game. The action selection is very clever, where you get to pick 2 actions on your turn, but if you take the top one, which is movement, the other action that you take has to be below that. And so there's like this sort of like cascading tier of actions that you get to choose. The most powerful one, the Ankh action, where you're buying these new abilities, is at the bottom. So if you take that one, you don't get to do any other actions.
So maybe you only get 1 action instead of 2.
But sometimes you move that all the way to the end of this track, and then you get to resolve special abilities like taking over temples that will give you followers and points at the end of the game. But also the merge at the end of this game, it handles the catch-up mechanic, which can be an issue in a lot of territory control games, better than any game I've ever seen. And honestly, if you plan for the merge accordingly, it can be an advantage to you. Why, if you are the players with the 2 players with the least number of points, you will merge your abilities together. You will merge your currency together, and you become this one all-powerful god, but you're not eliminated. You're each still taking turns. So if you see this coming, don't beat up on the guy who has the lowest points. If you're the guy with the second lowest points, actually help him get in a more strategic position so that you can then go back and beat up on the leaders. This game is so good. The other mechanic that it does, I've never seen a game do, is the camel action where you get to redraw the territories.
Yes.
That is so huge.
So
and
good.
then you can change the order in which the territories resolve their battles. If you know what you're doing when you gain those actions, you can completely swing the tides of this game. And I've just had so many incredible games of Ankh, and there's still a lot of different
Like scenarios
you can play that
So
we
many.
haven't even tried yet.
I haven't even done the Pharaoh's expansion yet, which I've heard is an absolute must.
It is. We did finally try that. Suggestion from Sam Stockton. Thank you. I would never play it without.
Awesome.
It gives you a whole additional action that you can do, and you move your
God?
priests
Oh, your priest.
into pharaoh locations, and then when the battle phases are resolved, whoever has the most pharaohs in an area gets an additional action to perform, and they're all very powerful. I would not play without the pharaoh expansion, 100%.
I've only played this game a couple of times, and my biggest issue that I had was I was never able. It was literally never going to be. So, like Mike was talking about, when you're taking these actions and you're moving these tracks along, if you're the one that moves to the last spot before it resets, you trigger this ability at the bottom that allows you to take over areas and temples and things like that. I literally never had the opportunity to trigger that because Tim was sitting next to me, and every time, even though it wasn't his best move, if there was an option to do that, he did that, and then I was unable to do it ever. And I was literally starting my turn of the game right next to one of those things, and I could never take it over. I'm looking at it, it's right there, but I couldn't take it because I never had the option to trigger that, and that is weird to me.
And that's how you win.
We just got to get some more plays of it.
I don't think so. It was the first time we played. And there was a 5-player game. I think was that Caleb was there?
Yeah, maybe.
I think Caleb won.
Maybe.
Also,
I was close.
You can easily get this game played in 2 hours with 4 and 5 players and with a teach.
Yeah, the game has an excellent sort of game timer mechanic because as those events get triggered, that keeps the game moving. And not every time is going to cause a battle, right? So you're going to spend a lot of time where you're moving units in and out of other territories that other people control. All kinds of really interesting things going on in there.
I don't think it's bad. I need to, I don't know, not sit next to Tim.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely recommend playing it again. It could be a good one for we made Bob play this game.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
There you go.
Let's see what you think this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I do love all the Egyptian stuff. I'm super into it. I ended up buying the game still because I wanted to get all the bits. I thought it was super cool, but I just didn't care for that mechanism in there. And
Sure.
But it could be just because, like I said, because there were times no, Tim, you could do this and score a bunch of points. Like, yeah, no, but I want to trigger that thing. And I was like, dude, come on. So yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you need that thing, or you need that to happen. Because sometimes it is more beneficial to start that battle or start that event before somebody else can trigger it because you're going to then give them time
to do something
to prep. So maybe on the surface it wasn't great. Like I could have moved over here and I might have been able to convert that temple or something, but instead of, because if I stall it, because I've had it happen to me where I stall it, I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to try to build up, and then I set up, and then I'm thinking that Mike's going to end it. Mike doesn't do it because then he sets up. Well, now the person who was waiting, like, oh, please let it come to me.
Yeah.
Let it come to me. Then they do it, and it's like, oh, so I don't know. I like the gambling aspect of it too, right? That little bit of press your luck.
And I mean, I really do feel though, like the being able to redraw the lines in an area control game and then choose reorder the way they're going to resolve is super cool.
It's so good.
I mean,
timing is a huge part of the game.
It's
for
so
sure.
good. I won't talk about this game in a future
I know,
list.
I know. You have to wait next week for that one.
You will.
So it's going to take us
guess.
to Mike. 7 this time.
7, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Take us down to number
7.
I was really hoping you'd say 6.
I was considering it.
I was really hoping. I was like, here he goes. Here he goes.
Just wait. We're not done yet.
So my number 7, unfortunately, I have to thank Mike for this game because he thought it looked really cool. He bought it. We played it on a bed at a convention. I thought it was awesome. Weird. The next day.
We did.
The next day.
Hold on. What list is this?
No, we're pushing forward. We're going on. We're not going back. We're not going back. But Sky Team is a fantastic 2-player game, limited communications. You're a pilot and a co-pilot who are, I don't know, fighting, not talking to each other. But
Passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive. But you're rolling your dice behind the screen. You're taking turns placing them down and trying to land your plane. There's all these different scenarios, all these different modules. They just released a new expansion for it, which I haven't had a chance to play any of them yet.
We'll fix that.
But there is a wind module, icy module, a fuel leakage. You got interns. You've got what else, Mike?
Mountains that you have to steer around.
Yeah, there's ones you got to change your tilt and which way you're going. But it's so well done. And even just the production of the board itself and the way they make it dual layered is you fold it and it gives you this double-sided tape and it sticks it together. Yeah. Boom! Now you have a dual layered board, and it's super smart to where the one track that's basically your game tracker because it tells you what your altitude is, and it moves one down each time. When it gets all the way down to the bottom, it's got a stopper and it won't go any further because that's the bottom of the track. It's just so smart. Everything
it's really well
designed. Yeah, it's so well designed, so well produced. It was Scorpion Mask.
Yep.
Nailed it with that one. So yeah.
Is this your favorite 2-player game to play in a bed? With Mike?
That's yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna work on that phrasing a little bit.
Yeah, maybe like you could leave the bed
The
part
bed
out.
part out.
Yeah.
Well, I meant like
In
when it
our
was late
hotel
at
room.
night. There we go. We were in the hotel room. It still doesn't sound
At our
great.
Gen Con hotel, and it was
Gen Con
more
hotel.
comfortable to do that than play on the tiny
Motel,
table.
Holiday Inn.
Yeah,
The tiny
No.
table that our Gen Con hotel had. This game is incredible. Very happy that it won the spiel.
Yeah, just well
Oh,
deserved.
deserve it. One of the few times I agree with like
Fish bills,
yeah. And I don't even love the game near as much as you guys do, but I mean, it's a really good
Love
game. I just
this.
haven't played near as much as you guys.
I bought it
either.
for my niece for Christmas. I taught her to play it. She's like, "This is really good." She's like, "I love co-op games." I was like, "Awesome."
And as soon as you think you're good at it, which if you're playing
The
any,
timed element on there. Oh my god.
play it real time, and you got to resolve the whole round in 60 seconds.
I just
my
need to
God.
play this game more.
The real time.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Crank up that difficulty. It's so
My
good.
only complaint, legitimately, about this game is thematically them not talking.
Well, let's
to
say they're
Don't
mad at
care.
each other. Maybe their headsets aren't
Don't
working
care.
right. They can talk to the tower, but for some reason the person-to-person communication
Yeah.
is not working.
It just doesn't bother me because the game is so good.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just it's a flaw in the theme is all. But you can't.
Otherwise, it's too easy.
yeah,
if
you
can
can't
just,
play the
Way
game
too
where you
easy.
can talk though.
Right.
So I don't know what the fix is.
for the theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
How to theme fix the awesome gameplay.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But the theme is amazing.
I did. They're just not talking.
Yeah, that's good. Let's just kill everybody on this plane because I'm mad at you for not playing a game in bed with me the night before.
That's right.
They need to come out with a solo mode where you play with Otto, the autopilot.
There you go. That's your favorite robot.
You get too distracted.
It keeps deflating.
Yeah.
I'll try not to play any
that's
games.
what it is.
I'll try not to play any games with him in bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Okay, so let's get to my number 7.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Mike.
Who screwed up now?
Yeah, seriously. We got so going on there. No, so we just played this the other night with an expansion, and it just made me love this game more.
Wow.
Because the expansion is that good. And I'm talking about Thunder Road Vendetta.
Thunder Road.
And we just played with the Carnival of Chaos expansion the other night, which we'll have a review coming, so check that out.
Improves the game, in my opinion.
Improves a game that I already probably would have had in my top 10, maybe top 20 anyways. Obviously it was in my top 10 before I played the expansion because we'd already done this list. But holy crap, like this game is so much fun. It's just chaos. It's crazy. This is not for people that need to be able to plan out their turn and like have things go the way they need it to go. It's not the game for you. This game is just madness. You're laughing your ass off as cars are blowing up and going flying. You're ramming cars into things. The Carnival of Chaos just multiplies that. Like we had a thing that happened in the game, like an event sort of card that came out, and it was like anytime anybody got rammed, they got launched.
Yeah.
And so you're rolling
Maybe
the stunt
slid,
die,
yeah.
and so cars are really like normally it's just like they just move like one spot. Like we killed like 2 or 3 people lost cars
Yeah.
because they got
Blasted.
blasted way high up. You'll get these like little party favor tokens or whatever, right? So like I knocked somebody onto a pillar that like a column that was down, and then I played a token that flipped all the down tokens up. Or no, I could change one of the
Change
pillars.
2 of them, yeah.
Yeah, change 2 of them. So that's what I did is I pushed one down and then popped that other one up. Well, that car was on the one and gone, dead. And it's so much fun. And the thing is, you have to be able to be like, you have to be okay
Embrace the chaos.
with your cars getting destroyed. It's going to happen because especially in Carnival of Chaos, and this is one of the things it fixes, right? Because in regular Thunder Road, you're trying to get as far down the race as you can. And you may, if you get eliminated, well, you can't win. It's going to be that car that's furthest down at the end of the game. Or you cross the finish line if you make it that far. I've never seen anybody get to the finish line. Carnival of Chaos, you're getting scrap tokens, right? You're basically getting money for doing damage. And
blowing cars up.
And different things can give you money.
Yep.
And so in this one, you can lose all of your cars. And with the second somebody's out, you basically are just going to finish that round and it's done. So there's no like
sitting out and
player
waiting.
elimination and extra downtime. And again, you could have been gathering a whole bunch of scrap like that whole time anyways. So you could lose all your cars and still win the game, which I really appreciate. But this is like one of my all-time favorite games, obviously, and Restoration Games just absolutely crushed it with this. So freaking good. I love this game.
The other thing I think that expansion fixed in the base game for me is that it's very common during the race. You have an anticlimactic finish. You've got all these cars beating up on each other, and then one car just moves one spot, which drops everybody off, and I guess Mike just won. But in Carnival of Chaos, when you're competing to have the most scrap, it can literally come down to the very last die roll.
Yeah.
And if you roll the correct die to damage a car or destroy that car, and that's the last die roll of the game, and now you've got enough scrap to win the game, that fixes the anticlimactic finishes that was an issue for me in the base game. So a very good improvement over that.
One of the other things I really appreciated about this game, and again, I think, you got people with the right mentality, but we played this game. We all were experienced players, have played this game. We played it with two people that have never played it before. We were able to teach them the game very quickly. It's a very straightforward game. It had been a little bit since I played it last time, but the second I have my board out, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to roll my dice and I'm going to assign it to this car. We're going to take an action. I'm going to assign it to this car. Take an action. And then that Carnival of Chaos book just basically kind of changes the setup like a tad bit. And then it's like three other rules.
And
it's all... That game is so intuitive.
It makes sense.
It just makes sense. The way that you move, the way you drive, the way you can shoot, all of it makes sense, and it's really good. I just freaking love this game, and it was so much fun. And I love playing this with people that also embrace the chaos. Not shy. Like I was playing with somebody that I'd never met before, and she was not shy about destroying my car or going after my car. She's like, well, I'm sorry, Tim, but I'm going to go after you. I'm like, do not apologize.
Shoot him.
Shoot that car.
That's the game.
Shoot that car, because guess what? I'm going to come for you.
I'm shooting back.
Yeah, I don't care. It's going to happen. And just super fun. I will say, there's a lot of bits to this game, and that was what I was talking earlier about. We had we didn't bother getting out the ongoing damage.
Yeah.
Things. We're like, just draw a new one, because it was kind of buried in the box. And listen, any of these games, any game you play, if you got to change a rule or fudge something just to keep the game moving or have a good time, as long as it's fair for everybody and everybody's in on it, who cares?
Just go.
We're playing games to have fun, man. That's how you play. Go away. I don't play a game with you. Anyways.
Asterisks in my BG stats.
Yeah. Mike won, but it's Bob's fault because he didn't want to get out those ongoing damage cards.
Yeah, I
freaking love this game. I will play this game anytime, anywhere. It's a blast.
Yep.
It moved up.
I didn't realize I was that high up there for you.
Golly.
It moved up for me with the expansion.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, my number 7 has been on the top 10 every year we've done it, and it's Scythe. Scythe is just a classic game for me. Just an absolute classic for me. I love the territory control. I love the resource management. I really like the engine building, where you can kind of maximize one specific part of your board and make performing that action even cheaper. And I really like one mechanic. I'm just surprised at no games. I'm going to keep saying this until another game makes it to where your resources stay on the board, and if you lose a battle, somebody else takes your resources. How come no other game has tried this yet? I think that is a genius novel mechanic by Jamie Stegmaier there, but this is still my favorite Stonemaier game. I actually did finally play it again this year.
Oh, nice.
The Invaders from the Far expansion, take it or leave it for me. I think it is an interesting way to play by leaving the traps out, but those factions are also more difficult to play, and I save them for more experienced players.
Airships?
The airships I like, and I like everything in the Rise of Fenris campaign. That is one of the few campaigns that I have played from start to finish, and I know this is an issue in Bob's campaign, but I just want to let anybody know that the score you get in the last episode of the campaign determines the winner. So it doesn't matter if you're losing up to that point. If you use all of your stuff for an effective final round, you can win the game, regardless how you did leading up to that point. It's got some really cool unlocks in it. It was the first game I knew of that had dual layer player boards. Love the art by Jacob Rosalski. There's just a lot of things I love about Scythe, and that's why it's been on my number 10 every year.
Listen, the art in this game, I loved this game when it first came out. My issue with this game, and I've said it before, is that new players are gonna get smoked by experienced players because there are correct moves to make at the beginning of the game. And I just don't always love a game that is on rails for at least the first 3 or 4 turns.
The modular board helps a little bit with that.
Sure.
Modular board is also the only way I'll play now, so that you're not playing the exact same map every single time, and you know which resources you should be getting, because otherwise they're fixed every game. Modular board is a must.
And you can pick up resources and carry them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, your mechs
Certain
can do
certain
that.
units can.
Yeah. Which is cool. I mean, here's the thing: is like when Scythe came out, it blew me away because there was nothing I'd played like it at all.
The components are top notch.
The artwork is amazing. The components are top notch. I have the Kickstarter deluxe, everything in that first Kickstarter.
Painted bits.
And I don't know that I will ever get rid of this game, even though I don't know if I'll ever play it again. Just because it's like a really nice collector's piece, know?
Yeah.
I guess what I would do, I would probably just play it with new people. Because by now it's been long enough. And, that since I played
You don't have all that memorized?
Yeah, I don't know what the right moves are. I'm just going to play. And then maybe that will introduce them. But I don't want to play it with you guys because I will not even be competitive. And that's not a knock on you guys or anything, because you guys, we play games together all the time. You play to win the game, right? But it's like, I'm just not interested anymore in sitting and playing a game like Scythe with people that are really experienced at it and really good at it. I will let the big dogs beat up on each other, and I'll play something that's a little bit faster.
The easy way to handle that is that the game's been out long enough is that they've tiered all the factions. And so you just pick one of the weaker factions if you're an experienced player. I've played this game 25 times. I still lose all the time. So
Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I also don't always care about being good at games. I just want to enjoy playing them. And I want everybody that I'm playing the game with to equally enjoy the game. That's my goal.
That's it. Right. But I have sat at a table with Scythe players, not you, and not you,
that know all of the
that
moves.
know all the stuff, and their goal is to win the game, not
as quickly as possible,
and not to have a communal shared experience of let's all
sharing the experience of me winning.
Because even games that I am good at, if I'm playing with other people, I want them to have fun and want to play this game with me, right?
Yes.
So I try to create that experience.
Unfortunately, if you don't know yet, if you're one of those people whose only goal is to crush every other player at the table, regardless of experience, you are ruining their opportunity to play games with you again. So just think about that next time.
So when you're playing me, and if you don't like me, which is fine, just do that, and then I don't have to play games with you anymore.
But yeah, Scythe is still a favorite. It was the first big Kickstarter I backed, and I still love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, like I said, I don't know that I'll ever get rid of it because it's beautiful, and I really love what it does. I just don't. If I want a game that's on rails, I'll play chess.
I'd love to take you up on the offer of finishing out my Fenris campaign. We just got to find one more person. I think there's only 2 missions left. And that way I can reset that so I can play it base game again, because right now it's mid-campaign.
You're going to make me play Scythe with you guys?
Yes. And you're going to play because how many other? There's 10 or 12 of the camp. 12. I think I'm on mission 10, so you'll play the last 2 to 3 missions.
I'll get you through.
All right.
Yeah, 10, 11, 12. So I just got to play 3. And all that matters is what you do in the last episode
so you have 2
anyway.
games to get warmed up.
Yeah. I haven't played Scythe in 3 years. Sure. So, yeah.
All right.
That would be a lot of fun. One other point I'll make about this, there's still those people that say, well, I expect you to be a combat game because there's mechs on the board. Or mechs.
Oh, right.
There's a faction that's good at war, but the rest, it's more like the threat of war is what makes the game interesting.
Yeah, you only really score for winning twice, unless you're the faction that's really good at it.
Yep.
Yeah, you do need to lean into your faction abilities.
Yeah. I just appreciate that makes it a hybrid game. It combines those territory control elements with Euro mechanics.
Yeah, again, I don't have a problem with that pick at all. I think it's a great game. I just kind of fell out
So if we take the
love with
modular board and flip most of it upside down, and then would that kind of make it like a 4X type of game? Right, so you explore those tiles and flip them over as you're going out and exploring.
That's wild.
kinda-
Well, the modular board's double-sided though, so I guess you
crap.
flip.
You can still flip it though.
I don't know. I'd want to know what resource I'm going towards because that's ruined other 4X games for
Sure.
me. I
Oh, look, a
couldn't
sun.
find the tiles I needed, so I never got the resources I needed
Yeah,
to build
that's
my
fair.
engine out.
That's just a thought.
Yeah, let's take that Zaya Sun and like throw
Flip
that
over
in.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Mike.
Whoops.
You found a resource. It's light. Oh, that's of it.
A lot of energy
A lot of
coming out
energy
of there.
Fusion generator found.
Stop trying to make this game like Eclipse.
Okay. So anyway, that's going to bring us down to number 6. So my number 6, apparently, Meeple Pub has decided Sky Team is not my favorite 2-player game, and it is, in fact, Star Wars Rebellion.
Wow.
Star Wars Rebellion is a fantastic game. You can play it 4 players, but don't. Unless you're
No.
playing with like kids or something like that, and you're kind of
Yeah,
like
sure.
working
Help
together.
me take my turn.
Yeah, but other than that, 2-player game, right? And if you love Star Wars, this is the epic version. This is like the epitome of what a Star Wars game should be. You can send Luke to Dagobah to train him as a Jedi. You can freeze people in carbonite. You can try to turn people to the dark side. You can build a Death Star and blow up a planet. It's just so cool. You're sending your stormtroopers out and you're trying to subjugate all these planets in search of the Rebel base. The Rebels have a spot on the board where they're just dropping units, and that is where, consider their Rebel base, but then they have a card tucked underneath there that says what planet it's on. You're sending probes out trying to figure out what planet it's not on. And yeah, I love that cat and mouse. Like when you're the Rebel player and you're just trying to, stall long enough to win the game, or when you're the Empire, you're just trying to make sure you're, expanding fast enough so the Rebels have nowhere to hide. So once you do find the base,
You gotta choke them out.
Yep. You gotta choke off all those resources.
Yeah.
And man, just all the bits look fantastic. AT-ATs, AT-STs, your stormtroopers, your Star Destroyers, your
Death
Death
Star.
Stars, your Death Stars under construction. Like,
Yes.
it's just so much awesomeness to this game that, the Rogue One expansion, it does a bunch for the combat. If you played this game before, didn't care for the combat system, the expansion does improve that
Dude,
combat
yeah.
system quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's totally worth the crunch. I love this game. It's my favorite Star Wars game, my favorite 2-player game. So yeah.
Now, would you play this on a bed
No.
in a hotel room?
But I
neither.
would play it over
Yikes.
COVID.
Yeah.
Online. Yeah.
Yeah, that worked really well,
It did,
actually.
yeah.
We just set up a control board.
Yep.
Bob had the control board, and then I mimicked my board based on what his was so I could look at stuff. And then the probe deck, we just...
The only real difference is the Rebel player controlled the probe deck, and then when it came time to show the other player, the Empire player, I held up a card and let him see it, and then held up a card and let him see it, and then I just discard him face down. And that way, when I had to search it and manipulate it, I could still do it without him seeing it. And then each turn, I have to show him a planet I'm not on, show him another planet I'm not
Yeah.
on, and that's it. Other than that, the game
this
plays
it?
exactly
Nope.
the best movie scene ever.
Is this it?
Nope.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, so my number 6, I think, fell out of my top 5 and into 6. It is also my favorite 2-player Star Wars game of all time. It's the second time, Bob.
second
We've done this
time.
twice in the top 50 where we've had the same game on the
Same
same
number. Wow.
Never tell me the odds.
That's right.
Yeah, this is leaps and bounds by far the best Star Wars game. It provides the best Star Wars experience. No, it's not for the people that aren't going to really be into this 2-hour long, cat and mouse, tech tree, like all that stuff, right? It's not for them. But man, if you love Star Wars and you really want to kind of take that next step, get into that middle heavyweight game, with lots of dice chucking still though too, this is the one. Even if you don't like Star Wars, this is a really good sort of
Cat and mouse
territory control, war game, with a lot of push and pull too, and big swings. This game's so good. But if you love Star Wars and you want to play that level of game, I think it's games like this that make like Outer Rim kind of tough for me because
Right.
I saw what they can do.
Right.
I saw what
I've
they could
had
do with
the Star Wars
Rebellion.
experience.
And then like Outer Rim just doesn't do
Yeah.
enough of
It's
it
okay.
for me. It's fine.
Yeah.
But there's other games that kind of do similar things to that. That the Star Wars isn't enough to like really
Right.
grab it and pull it in. This is the most Star Wars game ever. Probably my second favorite is that deck building game, the Star Wars deck building game,
Yeah,
because
that's
it does
really
a
good
really
too.
good job of like thematically capturing, but much
good.
lighter,
Yeah.
Right.
much
Much
more
lighter.
approachable. But yeah, this game is so good. The components are just out of this world. They're top notch. They're
Yep.
from a galaxy a long time ago.
Worst
far,
part
far
about
away.
this game is the insert.
Yeah,
It's a fantasy flight. It's just a
That's a
wow.
wow.
yeah, I got when I got mine at Geekway, remember?
Uh-huh.
And I got the that special insert. Like I forget what it was, but
Like
yeah,
a
it's like a
folded
game
space?
trays insert
Oh,
or something
okay.
for it. Like came with it,
Nice.
and it came with the Rogue One thing.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how I got bags.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, this game is amazing.
Awesome.
Highest of recommends. Yeah, Bob, number
funny.
6. You
Yeah.
started talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah. But everything Bob said,
Yep.
times 2.
Great
All right,
game.
Mike,
Great
why
game.
is
Why-
your
yeah,
number
so
6
six.
Star Wars Rebellion?
I talked about it a couple weeks ago, so
That's
sorry,
true.
guys. Still love this game. Great picks. My number 6 is new to my top 10, and it is Clans of Caledonia.
Nice.
I love this game, obviously, because it's my number 6 game of all time. But I played this game one time, taught to me by Tim's sister, and I just immediately fell in love with it. I believe I put it at like 21. And then at QSCon, I got to play it again with 2 new players, and Donnie and the Youngs, and everybody had a blast. And now I've been playing it on Board Game Arena.
Listen, I could play Tiddlywinks with that group, and it would be like the best game I ever played, just because they are such a good group of people to play games with.
But now this game has just soared up into my top 10. I like this. I get the comparisons between Terra Mystica and Gaia Project, but this game works better for me, and I believe it's because of the market manipulation. The fact is that you can get resources by manipulating the market and then selling them at the high price and buying them
you hate
at
that.
low price.
You hate economic games. That's
I
weird.
love that in games. That's why Smartphone Inc. was my number 10.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And there's other games that I'll talk about that do the same thing, but that kind of Scottish, distilling whiskey theme works really well for me. And the fact that you're building up these engines and putting out buildings on the board and then doing as many actions as you can until you run out of money, and then passing for the round, and then collecting income, and then going again and take as many actions as you can till you collect income. That always works for me in games, and Clans of Caledonia does it the best that I know of. I just love this game so much. I'm really excited for the Industria expansion, which did hit its funding goal. So this is a game that has been out for quite a while, went out of print, and now here's a new opportunity with a reprint and an expansion that's going to add a new board, several new mechanics. Clans of Caledonia, I can't wait to keep playing more of this game.
Yeah.
I've only played my physical copy twice, and other than that, I've just played it on Board Game Arena like 10 times, and it just works so well for me. I love this game.
I haven't played it yet, but it looks
either.
cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna fix that.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do the hey, we got Bob, Mike, or Tim to play, I will be bringing Clans of Caledonia, and that will happen.
I hate it.
So that will round up our 10 through 6.
Man, awesome list, guys. Super fun. Bob and I had the better list since
Obviously.
we crossed over. It's not a competition.
There's
Tim.
going to be even more crossover when we get to 1 through 5.
Yeah, I'm sure. But to hit on the same numbers.
Yeah.
But you will hear some games that have been talked about and a few that have not yet.
Probably.
But anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you let us know what are some of your favorite games we talked about. We want to know your top 50. Leave them in the comments below. Hit us up on the Discord. All those things. Check out our Insta.
That's right.
Mike and Bob do a great job of like curating that and
Memes and reels galore.
Mostly Mike. Bob's done a few things, so
I send Mike videos and pictures, and then he
I did the editing.
He memifies
and he's
them
like,
puts
"Hey,
them on
Mike,
there."
okay, so get that song. You know that song goes da 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 da. Like
Yeah.
get that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that
Got
song
it.
on there. Mike's like, got it.
Got it.
And somehow he does.
Yeah.
So good
Interact
job.
in our Facebook group. We're big on there too.
Yeah. So let us know. Let us know what you think. We really appreciate it.
Why
We
is Star Wars Rebellion your number 6 game?
Yeah. Why isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, guys, for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Mike.
Thanks for watching.